All right, so I saw on freaking. Well, let me start off by saying this. So I was on Discord with my friend a couple months ago, and he was at a party, and he was talking to like 7 or 8 other people, and they started talking about planes and landing airplanes. And my friend said that almost every single dude at this gathering said that they could land a plane on the first try in case of an emergency. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, did I ever think that before actually learning how to land an airplane? Did I ever think that? And I think I did, which is so funny because then you go through flight training and then you realize you cannot. I have flown with over probably 50 different people as a flight instructor, and not a single one of those people, I don't think, could have landed a plane by themselves on the first try. The only thing I can think of is if you're in an emergency situation, which I know has happened before, um, which we should actually look at, where they landed a plane, like a controller came on the radio with them and then instruct them how to land a plane. Okay, you're going to pull power out this time. I think they made a whole freaking movie about it, actually. Find me a movie where the passenger can land a plane. Is that it? Where the passenger can is it this one with like Harrison Ford? Yeah. After the pilot dies unexpectedly mid-flight, Douglas White. So On a Wing and a Prayer. Okay, is that based on a true story? Based on a true story? Is it really? Is indeed based on a true story. It depicts a harrowing experience of Doug White and his family when their pilot died mid-flight, forcing Doug, who had a limited flying experience. See, what does that mean? Limited flying experience to land a plane with the help of air traffic control and the instructor. And an instructor. Okay, what is he flying? So who was this? Wing on a Prayer, Doug White. I wonder if we could find a YouTube video about it. Doug White. Let me just YouTube this. So that's the thing, is that this guy had limited flying experience. So he has some experience, right? Doug White landing airplane. I almost put a question mark out of the end of it. My pilot's deceased. Oh my God, he has a freaking interview? I want to watch this. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear this or not.
Right here where I live, close to us. And he was the pilot. So he said, yeah. So he comes down. He lands at Marco Island. This is on Easter Sunday. Funeral was
Maybe I'll watch this and I'll make a video out of it.
Friday, Good Friday, and then we just visited on Saturday, and then on Sunday, he lands and we go.
Let me see something right here. So ChatGPT. Did Doug White... All right, no, let me ask this. How many flying hours did Doug White have when he landed the plane in that emergency? I like how I'm like I have peak AI technology at my fingertips right now, and I can't spell. So he had 230 hours. That doesn't count. Doug White had 230 flying hours when he successfully landed a King Air B-200 during 2009 emergency after a pilot died. He was a private pilot at the time with no multi-engine experience. But here's the thing, is that he still understands that power needs to come out on landing and that flaps need to go in at certain times. Like, this doesn't count in my opinion. Like, good for him. I mean, I'm not bagging on him. I'm just saying, these guys at the party, right? If you were to get like hour zero, which this is the whole premise of this video, is that they said that with all their experience, that at hour zero, they could land a plane by themselves in case of an emergency. There's no freaking way. And what's crazy is that they were saying that the plane in this scenario wasn't a Cessna. It wasn't a Cessna. It was a freaking airliner. Like if you know, let's say like the kind of the fantasies that you had when you were 10 years old, when the pilots are like slumped over and you're like, I will save the plane, right? Flying 737s. There's no way. There's too much. Flaps, power, talking to ATC, approach speeds. I mean, I don't know. What I would be really curious about to see, if you put someone in Microsoft Flight Simulator and then set them up on an approach, if they would be able to land the plane. That would be like that would be a little experiment I would conduct. And what's funny is I have this memory of putting my little sister, she's like 24, 25, putting her on Microsoft Flight Simulator and putting her at like 6,000 feet and then killing her engine. And then I talked her through an emergency landing. And she did land it. I don't know if she would have survived in real life, but in the simulator, it didn't end it. So I'm assuming that she might have survived that. And I talked her through that, but I don't know. I just find it so funny that most people believe that they can land an airplane. So that is a true story. But see, here's the thing is this is what people brought up to me. They said, well, this guy did it, Doug. He already had 200 and, something hours and of flying experience. So almost half so survey results indicate about 1/3 of adult Americans think they could safely land a passenger aircraft with air traffic controllers guidance. Okay. I still don't believe it. I still don't believe it. Even with air traffic controllers guidance, I just don't believe it. Because think about it. They would be like, okay, reduce power back now to whatever percentage manifold pressure, whatever RPMs or whatever it is, right? And they're like, where do I look for this? Where do I control power? And they're like, okay, put in flaps now. What are flaps? All right. Maybe in these planes, they have the auto land system. So maybe you'd be able to teach them how to use, does it though? You'd be able to teach them how to use the auto land system, the autopilot. I don't know, guys. Is that a thing now? I'm pretty sure it is. Among male respondents, the confidence level rose to nearly 50%. And this is funny. I see this attitude really commonly in people who are brand new to flying, where they think that the first time that and I remember kind of thinking this too, that I thought I'd be good at landing because I catch on to things pretty quickly, especially things that require aptitude like that. And I was humbled real quick. After my first flight and going through some maneuvers and steep turns, I realized like this is going to be way harder than I thought. It's not as intuitive as you think. Landing an airplane is just a controlled crash. It really is. So pretty popular post on meme.ig Instagram account. Lots of people in the comments are joking about their supposed ability and others are dead serious. Even Soli reposted on his Instagram saying, yeah, right. Even Soli. That's so funny. Report said, yeah, right. I'm a newly minted PPL with 55 hours. And if anything, that has made me, less confident. That is so true. This guy says that it made him less confident about whether or not he could land an airliner. Though I think I would be able to switch to guard on a 320 series or something, send a distress message and set up a Cat 3 auto land. Okay, so this guy's saying the same thing that I thought, is that if you could teach someone how to set up like a Cat 3 auto land somewhere with serious help from the ground, but there's still many variables, and there is, all right, no way any non-rated pilot passenger could do that. Or someone with 5,000 hours in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't know about that. I remember I learned how to fly the Citation jet in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Like, I knew where the power was. I knew how to control the comms. I knew how to turn on the autopilot, turn off the autopilot, climb at certain feet per minute. Like, I don't think that... I would say that if you do have some Microsoft Flight Simulator experience, I think that would increase your chances. For sure. I don't think that would save you. This post even cites Darren Harrison, the guy that landed the Caravan. Wait, what? These are two different names. This post even cites Darren Harrison, the guy that landed the Caravan at PBI, as someone who landed with a twin engine. Yeah, not an Airlander and definitely not a twin. Moral of the story: the aviation industry is one of the most misunderstood in the world, despite its prevalence. That is really, really true. That is really true. I am 50% confident I could land a passenger aircraft. I also have landed passenger aircraft before. Do what you will with that. Wait, what? Reddit is so funny. I am 50% confident I could land a passenger aircraft. I also have landed passenger aircraft before. Oh my God. I get that. That's pretty funny. You are more qualified than some industries. I guarantee that in my case, the Fireball would be at least partially within airport property. Well, either you can or you can't. Two possibilities. We never flip this around. How many airline pilots think they can safely talk down a non-pilot on the radio? That's true. This guy says, I probably could, but only on the type of plane I've flown, which is true. with Autoland. So people are considering Autoland into this. The 320 is fairly easy to set up after all. My airline, we even have the approach and everything preloaded before we even leave the ground. From there, maybe 10 to 20 button pushes will get the 320 to complete an Autoland once it's in the air with the autopilot on. That's insane. Now getting them to load an approach from scratch into the box, that's going to be damn near impossible to explain. I 100% agree. And this guy says, insert panic, handling radios for the first time, misunderstanding instructions, possibility of inadvertently pressing the wrong thing and complicating things. That's a recipe for mistake gone wrong. I love how this is a conversation that's been had for years at this point. Harper's Go said, not a pilot, but I did work cell phone tech support for many years. It's incredibly difficult to talk someone going through a cell phone call menu over the phone, especially if they don't know, or if they don't have no real experience with the device. And this was back in the day when you had to manually program the phone with the phone number, no over-the-air programming available. Shoot, just walking someone through the settings to get their serial number was hard. I had to know all the steps they had to do and the consequences of what they did wrong, so I could say hit X instead of Y, now hit Z and go back. So that's a really good point too. It's just like explain. That's what I said earlier about explaining to someone, okay, reduce power back on the throttle, or push the VS button, or push the autopilot button. Oh, it's this button over here. Oh, and then they hit the approach button instead of the AP button or something like that. But 50% of the male population believes that they can land a plane. I don't even blame them for thinking that. I think people think that it's easier than it actually is. I thought that. I remember that part of my brain still exists. Oh, it's not going to let me read this. Isn't that kind of funny though? It's probably not going to let me read this either. Yeah, so that's the same thing is how to land a plane. How to land a plane from an expert. It's not rocket science. Assuming the engine is running when the pilot becomes anticipated. Set the throttles to maintain flight. Properly trim. The airplane is inherently stable. It wants to fly. It should remain. Yeah, see, I don't even know if I believe that. I don't even know if you could talk someone through that, especially if they have no experience. But anyways, what do you guys think? I remember that conversation and people on TikTok were talking about it. And a lot of the people on TikTok were like, no, I could land a plane 100%. On the first try if I was talked through it. That's what they always say. They said if I was talked through it, I'd be able to. And I just don't buy it. Like having the experience that I have now, I just don't think so. All right, guys, leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you for the next one.